Welcome. My name is Matt. And in this video, I'm going to talk about how to build a $1,000 per month newsletter or more from scratch without an existing audience or product or any writing or tech experience. My goal with this is to help two types of people. For those who are beginners, you'll get the system to build a profitable newsletter from scratch that allows you to earn income online, work from anywhere, on your own schedule without a boss or clients. If you're someone who's kind of newsletter curious, you're curious about the model, or maybe you have a small newsletter, this is going to be the most valuable video you watch on how to build a newsletter. I promise you that. And if you're more experienced, maybe you already have a newsletter, a media business, education, coaching business, something like that, you're going to learn how to grow faster and make more money from your email list using the tactics that I'll teach you today. That sounds interesting. This is going to help. We're going to cover a lot of information over the next 90 minutes. I move very fast, so if you need to slow down the video, you should be able to do that in YouTube. Here's what we'll cover: how to pick a lucrative newsletter niche, how to get your first 1,000 subscribers fast, a copy and paste newsletter template you can steal to immediately create your newsletter, how to create high quality content with AI that doesn't sound like a robot, how to make hundreds of dollars from each subscriber on your list without creating your own product or finding sponsors, and a whole lot more. At the very end of this video, I will share with you how you can work with me to grow your business, but it is 99% educational. You'll get value from this regardless of if you choose to move forward with that or not. But I will be talking about that at the very, very end, but it's still going to be worth your time. I have a couple questions that are kind of rhetorical just to gauge your knowledge about newsletters and to educate you a little bit more. The first is, which email newsletter business sold for $525 million? Morning Brew, The Hustle, Industry Dive, or Axios? And this is a bit of a trick question because it's actually C and D. Industry Dive and Axios were both acquired separately for $525 million. The point is that newsletters make a lot more money than people realize. These were some of the largest acquisitions in the media industry ever. A newsletter called The Milk Road, which is about crypto, was acquired for 7 figures in 10 months. The Hustle was acquired for $27 million. Morning Brew was acquired for $75 million. Finimize was acquired for $111 million. 1440 Media does over $20 million in revenue with a team of just 20 employees. MarketBeat does over $40 million annual revenue, and they're completely bootstrapped. Charlotte Agenda is a local newsletter that was acquired for $5 million. MarketWise is a publicly traded newsletter company that does over $400 million in annual revenue. And Agora is a conglomerate of over 200 financial and health newsletters, and they did over $1 billion in revenue. There's also hundreds of other newsletters that do 6 and 7 figures in annual profits that I don't have time to mention here. And I just want to show you how awesome newsletters can be. What celebrity do you think has the most newsletter subscribers? And yes, all these celebrities have newsletters: Tom Brady, Selena Gomez, Gwyneth Paltrow, Arnold. The answer is C, Gwyneth Paltrow. She started a weekly newsletter in 2008, and it was called Goop, and it's later evolved into a media, lifestyle, wellness, and e-commerce business. And Goop does over $65 million in annual sales, and in 2020 it was valued at $250 million. They have millions of email subscribers now, but it all started from one weekly newsletter that Gwyneth sent to a small list. Celebrities, influencers, and creators are starting newsletters because they're the best way to own your audience and build an independent media business that is separate from a personal brand. A client that we work with is Wondermine, and Wondermine was co-founded by Selena Gomez. It's a newsletter-first media company that has hundreds of thousands of subscribers that is valued at $100 million. Next question. What platform does not put an algorithm between your content and the people who want to receive your message? Is it YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, or email? You probably know that the answer is email. Email is the only platform where you completely own your audience. There's not an algorithm or a gatekeeper filtering your content from your audience. If you have 100,000 email subscribers, that's a direct line of communication to 100,000 people's inboxes at the moment you send an email, instead of being at the mercy of algorithms. If you have 100,000 followers on Instagram, your post might only be seen by 5,000, 10,000 of them or less, especially if it flops. It's totally different than the social platforms and totally different than Google search platforms. It also costs $0 to start a newsletter. You need a laptop and internet connection, and you can start with a free plan with any email service provider like Beehive, Kit, or Substack. And the last question I have for you is, do you think it makes sense to start an email newsletter so you can own your audience and build an income stream online? If you're watching this, you're probably thinking, Probably yes, but I'm not totally sure. And I'm going to show you over the next few minutes why the answer is yes. I'll show you why newsletters are the key to building an independent, sustainable, and profitable online business. I'm going to show you a system that will make it simple for you to do this. And this system works. It's worked for hundreds of clients and students that I've worked with, like Guy Short here. He said, before founding The Flyover, I studied Matt's content, and much of our early success can be attributed to what I learned from Matt. We started from scratch and quickly built our publication to almost 1 million subscribers and profitably in 17 months. The Flyover went from 0 to 7 figures profitably. And Guy sent me a Slack message actually last year, and he said the Flyover went over 1 million in sales last week. We will finish this year, 2024, at that time, at over 2 million in sales, and they have over 1 million subscribers now. Now, I'll show you more examples and stories later, but before I show you how the system works and those stories, I want to briefly introduce myself for those who don't know me. I'm the founder and CEO of GrowLetter. We're a company that works with newsletters, media companies, and creators. I got my start in the newsletter world at The Hustle. It's a newsletter-focused media company that was founded by Sam Parr. He's also the co-host of the My First Million podcast. We were acquired by HubSpot, and after the acquisition, I was still working at The Hustle within HubSpot, and I had a little bit more time in my hands, so I started consulting with other newsletters that were out there. I worked with 1440 Media, that had around 1 million subscribers at that time. They have now surpassed over 4 million subscribers. Actually, at this point, it's 4.5 million subscribers. And they do 20 million in revenue with a team of about 20 people. So over $1 million in revenue per employee. And Tim, the CEO of 1440, said this about me. I'll paraphrase here, but basically, he said, Matt is a rare breed of thought leader and operator. His knowledge building growth playbooks helped 1440 level up to over 4 million subscribers. Next client I worked with is Sean Purdy, who created the Milk Road newsletter. I started working with the Milk Road back in January or February of 2022. And I brought over the system that we had used for The Hustle in 1440, and we grew that newsletter from 10,000 subscribers to over 250,000 subscribers in 10 months. And we were acquired for millions of dollars in 10 months. I've also been involved with a total of 5 newsletters that have been acquired successfully. And I've created my own newsletter, which is the #1 newsletter and podcast about newsletters. If you're watching this, you're probably a reader or a listener. It has over 50,000 subscribers. It has helped me build a business that has done 7 figures in annual recurring revenue in 2 years. And Austin Reef, who's the CEO of Morning Brew, or now former CEO because he just exited the company completely, he said about my newsletter that Matt's newsletter is by far the best resource on all things newsletters. We're going to be using the word newsletter a lot today, so that's going to be a little bit repetitive. But the point is that Austin knows what he's talking about because Morning Brew has surpassed over $250 million in lifetime revenue. I've spoken at the largest events about newsletters and digital marketing, and we've also hosted our own conference called Newsletter Marketing Summit. We had speakers like Sam Parr, Neville Medora, Steph Smith, Nathan Barry, Alex Lieberman, who's the other co-founder of Morning Brew, and many more amazing people. And in the past 2 years, I've had the opportunity to build a very large business in a short period of time for my newsletter, but it certainly wasn't always this way. I started from scratch. I grew up in the poorest county in the poorest state in the US at that time, Clay County, West Virginia. I was a dyslexic and ADHD kid who went to 7 different schools growing up, and I started my career as a college dropout with no experience, no money, and no connections, living in a town that was not a media, tech, or startup hub. But I discovered something in 2017 that changed my life. I discovered newsletter businesses and creators like Morning Brew, The Hustle, Ben Settle, James Clear. And I was fascinated by this newsletter business model, so I thought I could try and replicate it. And I started my first newsletter back in 2018. But back then, there was almost no information about how to actually build a newsletter and no software that made it easy. And I basically made every mistake in the book and I shut it down a few months later. But I kept researching and studying newsletters, and everything changed in 2020 when I got a job at The Hustle to lead newsletter growth. We grew to over 2.5 billion subscribers. We were acquired for $27 million. And most importantly, I got to see behind the scenes on how newsletters were actually built. After I left The Hustle, I consulted and worked with top newsletter media companies and creators. And I started my next newsletter in 2023 and used it to make more money than I ever thought possible. And these experiences with all these successful clients and with the companies that I worked with, they led me to discover a system that founders use to turn newsletters into massive business. And that system's called Write, Grow, Sell. I didn't come up with the name. I think originally it was either coined by Austin Reef or Alex Lieberman of Morning Brew, but it is a perfect description of what the newsletter business model is. Write, Grow, Sell. The model is very simple, but it's effective. You write an email every day or every week. You grow, you get people to subscribe and read that email newsletter. And then you sell that attention to advertisers, and or you sell a digital product to that audience. And digital products and advertising have a near 100% profit margin. I want to show you today how Write, Grow, Sell works in action. And I'll break down 5 secrets that you need to know to build a $10,000 per month or larger newsletter that can scale to much, much more than that. And then I'm going to show you the math behind how it works. There's 5 different secrets, and I'll get into secret number 1 right now. The first thing you need to do is to create a category. If you look at the kind of pioneers of the newsletter space like Morning Brew, The Hustle, Skim, and others, they all covered general broad news. And at this point, that market's very saturated. You need to be different. Newsletters that have the most success now create their own category. And if you're starting a newsletter, you want to be in a category of one. Now, that doesn't mean you can't be in a niche or category of other newsletters. It's totally fine if there's actually other players in that space. What this means is that there are no other newsletters that do exactly what you do. And to create this category of one, you need 2 things. You need a lucrative niche to serve, and you need unique content to offer that niche that is different than the other players. By picking the right niche and the right content to offer them, it's going to make growing, writing, and monetizing much, much easier. So to pick that niche, I recommend you either go hyperscale or hyper niche. You do not want to be in between. Advertisers want either hyperscale, the ability to reach millions or tens of millions of people through your newsletter and through your audience, or they want hyper niche, the ability to reach a targeted high value audience of people who are very likely to buy their product and who have a lot of buying power and decision making ability. Some examples of hyperscale newsletters are 1440. They cover the daily news in 5 minutes with basically just the facts. And that appeals to basically hundreds of millions of Americans. They have a very large TAM or total addressable market. Another cool one is Word Daily. They get over 58 million opens per month, and they just send you a new word every day and the definition of that to help expand your vocabulary. Hyperscale can be awesome if you know what you're doing, but for most new founders, I recommend hyper niche. And that is because by narrowing down who your content is for, you will stand out more. Most newsletters fail because they try and be everything for everyone, and then they end up being nothing to no one. A couple more reasons you should consider hyper niche is that you can get sponsors of just 5 to 10,000 subscribers or less. It's much easier to sell a product or service to your audience. There are endless untapped niches out there, and there is way less competition. So how do we pick that niche? Basically, this is the framework that I recommend. You want to consider these 4 things when you're picking your niche. What skills, experiences, or interests do you have? What are you good at? What are you passionate about? What is a problem that you have in your life that you want to solve through content? Is this a high need audience? Does this audience have a problem that you can help solve through your newsletter? Is this audience growing, or is the topic around it trending and increasing over time? If so, that's a good thing. Is this audience valuable to advertisers, and how many advertisers are in this space, and what rates are they paying to buy ads in other newsletters or to buy ads in other media businesses or with other creators? The higher the ad rates, the better. And of course, the more advertisers in this niche, the better. And then finally, does this audience that you're going to serve in this niche, do they actually buy stuff? Do they have a budget? Do they have buying power and the ability to make decisions about what they buy? If they buy digital products or information products or community products, that's even better. Or do they buy something else that you happen to have in your business that you can sell them? If so, that's a very good sign. And you want to put all 4 of those things into a Venn diagram like this. And the intersection of those 4 things is going to be the niche that you pick. The most common mistake that people make when they pick a niche is they just go way too broad. And so I don't want you to do that. You should pick a niche and then go 2 levels deeper within that niche, kind of like this image right here. So at level number 1, the niche is just business, so very broad. And we have a large potential audience, but we also have a much lower LTV. LTV in this context means subscriber lifetime value. What is the revenue that you'll make from a newsletter subscriber over the lifetime of their subscription on average? That's what LTV means. So business, Large audience, low LTV. Below business is marketing, still medium-sized audience, medium LTV, and then even below marketing is social media marketing. So smaller potential audience, but much higher potential lifetime value. And it is much better to start lower and then expand as you grow. If you start really broad and then go nicher, you're going to alienate the audience that you have. But if you expand as you grow, you're going to grow into an audience, and it's totally fine to do it that way. That's how every successful hyper niche newsletter works. For example, let's say we care about fitness. Below fitness is bodybuilding. Then below bodybuilding is how to bodybuild on a keto diet. That's a much more lucrative newsletter niche than just fitness. Fitness is way too broad. Then we have tech, below tech, AI, AI for marketing, then how to use generative AI to make ad creative. And then we have local news, things to do in your city, and then even below that, restaurants and food in your city. If you start at the bottom here, you'll have much more success actually growing your audience faster and monetizing your audience to a much, much higher degree. And what you have to realize is that most of these hyper niches are actually a lot bigger than you think, because even if you appeal to just 0.1% of people globally, that's still 8 million people, and you don't need millions or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of newsletter subscribers to be successful. You can do a lot with a small, high value audience. I like this quote from Naval. I think it does a good job explaining how you should consider picking a niche. Become the best in the world at what you do. Keep redefining what you do until that is true. The next thing you need is an offer for that niche. Okay, what content are you actually going to offer them and serve them with? This is my framework for creating a content offer that is so good it would be stupid for people who are in your niche not to sign up for it. An offer simply means the value proposition of your content, the reason why people should subscribe to your newsletter. And a great newsletter at its core helps the reader solve a problem. You don't want to overcomplicate it. You need to solve a problem for your audience. And the more painful the problem, the better. For example, losing your job, failing in your business, losing money in the market, losing sleep after having a baby. These are all painful problems, and they could be great topics to build a newsletter around. To show how we're going to solve a problem for our ideal reader, I use what's called the jobs to be done framework, because you can bucket every great newsletter into the job that it does for readers. Help me save money on flights, for example. There's a newsletter called Going. There's also a couple other very successful competitors that do this very well. And Going has millions of subscribers and millions of dollars in revenue. Help me become a better dad, the Daily Dad. Help me build better habits, James Clear. He has over 2 million subscribers. Keep me informed with just the facts, 1440, 4.5 million subscribers, over 20 million in revenue. You need to find your job to be done by answering these two questions. Who is your market of one? Think about one person. What would that person who is in your market of one, in your niche, what would they find extremely interesting or useful? What is the concrete job that you're doing for them? Be exact. How exactly are you going to fulfill their desires, help them reach their goals, and solve their problems through your newsletter content? If you can answer those two questions, you have a good understanding of what your niche is and what your offer is for that niche. Here's a couple examples, a couple stories I'd love to share with you. This is the Milk Road newsletter about crypto I mentioned before. What the founder of the Milk Road, Sean and Ben, found is that all of the news about crypto was boring and complicated. It felt like you needed a PhD in computer science and encryption to even understand any of this stuff. And Sean had the idea to explain what's happening in crypto like your smart, funny friend. And he said this in the original welcome email. Hey, Sean here. Welcome to my private crypto list. I'm here to do two things: explain what's going on in crypto in plain Jane English. Number two, make you laugh. We all know crypto is super interesting, but most people don't have the time to keep up with everything. That's what this newsletter is for. And no one else was doing that at the time. And this created a brand new category, a category of one. And that category was funny crypto news. And it made the Milk Road stand out. It was key to growing the newsletter to 250,000 subscribers and selling for seven figures in 10 months. So creating a category doesn't have to be super complicated. Sean just scratched his own itch. He solved his own problem, and he created a very simple category, funny crypto news, and that stood out. The next example is The Assist. This is a newsletter for women that helps them become better professionals and better leaders at work, get more promotions, raises, stuff like that. Joanna is the founder of The Assist, and she felt like all of the content and advice about leadership, career growth, and productivity was written for men by men, and she wanted to create content for women professionals that was tailored to their needs and experiences. Joanna says in her welcome email that she had a lot of bad experiences at work and in her career. And the silver lining of those things is that she learned how to negotiate and get promotions, find more purpose in work, and become a better leader while gaining more confidence and respect in the workplace. And she writes about those topics to her over 100,000 subscribers at this point. She's built this business to 7 figures in revenue, and it's one of the fastest growing B2B media companies in the world. The final example is Naptown Scoop. This is a local newsletter about news in Annapolis, Maryland. And Ryan Stedden is the founder. He was fed up with all the local news in his town because it was almost exclusively covering crime and politics. There was basically no positive news. And the only way to get local news was either TV, newspapers, or reading a website that was packed with ads and paywalls. It was a very bad consuming experience. So Ryan created a local newsletter that basically tells you the news like a friend. It focuses on fun live events, live music, food, and fun things to do in his city. He has grown that newsletter to $100,000 per year in advertising revenue in a town of just 100,000 people. And he's also using this newsletter to start and grow other local businesses. For example, he has this business called Royal Flush. It's a luxury toilet rental business that goes to weddings, events, outdoor venues, stuff like that. And he's able to grow that profitably because he has this newsletter audience in that city. Here are the rules of category design. Different is better than better. It is better to be first in a category than it is to be better. And if you can't be first in a category, you should set up a new category in which you can be first in. And by creating a category, you stand out and have a large advantage as a new publisher. Now, after you create that category, by picking a lucrative niche and unique content to offer that niche, you need to actually go out and create that content. And that's what I want to talk about how you can do now. Secret number 2 is that you must publish content consistently in these 2 places. And you should not just publish any type of content. You need to publish what I call IV content. IV content is not good content. It's not mediocre content. It's not great content. It is insanely valuable content. Insanely valuable content is the only way to stand out and truly grow your newsletter into a large and profitable business. When you publish IV content, you get responses from readers like this. I can't believe this is free. How do you only have small number of followers or subscribers? How do you put content like this out every week? Or something like, I would pay for this content. This is incredible. Or this helped me get this outcome. If you're getting responses from readers like that, you have IV content. And when you have it, it is a growth multiplier for everything else in your business. Yet, the only way to actually publish IV content is to go out and write. Go out and publish, create bad content, then good content, then great content, and then with enough repetitions and publishing and feedback from your readers, you will eventually get to insanely valuable content. And so if you don't have it yet, don't worry at all, but that needs to be what you're aiming for in the long run. And you need to publish this IV content in 2 places consistently. So what are those places? The first place, of course, is your weekly newsletter. And the second place is one social platform, and you need to do that 3 to 5 times per week minimum. Here is how I do that without spending dozens of hours each week researching, writing, and editing content. You need to start by creating a newsletter template. So we'll start with the newsletter stuff, then we'll go to the social media stuff afterwards. We need this newsletter template because you don't want to be writing your newsletter from scratch every single week. You need to create a repeatable template that you can use to fill in the blanks every time you publish your newsletter. To create this template, think about what sections in your newsletter are going to keep your readers engaged and solve a problem for them. And that should be informed by your niche and the offer that we talked about earlier. There's all different types of newsletter sections that you could use. What I recommend is you just go and steal from the best. Just go and look at great newsletters out there. Don't try and reinvent the wheel. Go subscribe to 20 or 30 or even more newsletters that you think are great or that are kind of in your niche or topic, and then pick the sections from those newsletters that you love and enjoy. Look at Morning Brew, 1440, The Hustle, Axios. You basically want to pick what you like, remove what you don't like, and then build that together, kind of like building blocks into your own newsletter template that you'll create. I encourage you to go through that process, but to save you a little bit of time, I'm just going to show you this 6-step newsletter template that you can steal. It's the template that I use and that will work for a lot of people out there. It's not the only way to make a great newsletter template, but it does work for me and many other people that I coach. Here are the 6 main sections. It's very simple. You're going to have an introduction section. This is where you grab attention and tease the content in your newsletter with a table of contents, bullet points like this, and you create an open loop so people keep reading that newsletter. Then you will have a curated section. This is where you share the best content, news, or resources that you found that week. You could add commentary, share summaries of those things, or add takeaways, your opinion, your point of view on those things. When you have a curated section like this with multiple different links, usually between, let's say, 3 to 6 links, it's going to drastically increase the click through rate of your newsletter, which will improve your deliverability and engagement. It will also just give your readers more content that they may enjoy. Then you'll have an ad or promotional section. This is where you promote a sponsor, your own product, or an affiliate offer. Then a main content section. This is original content that educates, informs, entertains, or tells a story. It is something that I recommend that you keep under a 5-minute read time. It could be longer in many cases, that's fine. But generally, 500 to 1,000 words is ideal for this type of section. Many times shorter could be better. If you need to go longer, as long as the content is good, that's totally okay. It's not really about how long it is. It's about how much value it delivers per minute. And then because most people are reading newsletters on a mobile phone, I encourage you to keep it no more than 2 to 3 lines per paragraph so you don't have big blocks of text on your phone. Then you'll have an outro section where you end the newsletter, sign off, and you share how you can help, more resources or call to actions. And finally, you'll have a poll section where you collect feedback on your newsletter and see how people enjoyed it. I recommend using a poll format like this. You can ask, how do you like today's newsletter? How do you like today's email? And then you can give them 3 options. Either it's love it, okay, not great, or it could be some variation of that, or you could just do 5 stars, 3 stars, 1 star. Here's what that looks like in actions. This is my newsletter. I have my introduction section. I always have 4 bullets. I have my curated section, which is broken up into different mini subsections around different topics. I have my ad section, my main content section where I share a deep dive or an article, and then I have my outro and poll section where I sign off and end the newsletter. It's really that simple. Now, after you have that template, of course, you need to put content into that template. This is how I write high quality content with AI that doesn't sound like a robot. After you've done a couple of newsletter issues, writing becomes a lot easier with help from AI. And if you're using just ChatGPT, you're probably missing out on a lot. Claude, I found, is best for writing original content. It sounds much less robotic than ChatGPT. It's great for writing, repurposing, and editing. Perplexity is best for curating news and current events and doing research. And ChatGPT is definitely the best all around tool. It's very helpful for refining, proofreading, and editing your newsletter. It's also amazing for creating images, and it can write newsletter content as well. Claude is just slightly better for writing at this point. So I want to show you how I've written newsletters of ChatGPT. This also works for Claude, but I'll show you ChatGPT because that's the most common tool that people start with. I say this essentially. I say act as a copywriting and marketing expert. And so I say copywriting and marketing expert, but for you, you would change those words to match whatever the AI should be an expert in to inform your audience, to write for your audience, right? So don't use exactly what I'm saying. Then I say, I want you to write a newsletter that is 500 to 600 words about how to build a profitable newsletter from scratch. So that's the topic that I gave it. Of course, your topic will be different. Make it easy to understand and conversational. Don't use big words. Break up the content into bullets when needed. And then after that, I do something very important that most people don't do is that I give it source material to train the AI. I say, start by reading these 3 newsletters I wrote about this topic to inform what you'll write. Then I paste that newsletter content below. And this is the output I get. It's very good. It's not good enough to just publish immediately, but after I edit it, it is something that I can publish and use as a newsletter. What AI can do is create amazing first drafts if you give it a detailed prompt and material to work with. So you either need to have newsletters or blogs that you've written, or you could train it on newsletters or blogs that are written from someone else. You still need to edit that content before publishing, but it's going to save you a lot of time. Now, if you don't have any source material at all, like you have no material from you or from another source that you can share with it, you can do this. What I recommend you do, and this works well for me and also for a lot of other people that I've worked with, you can write down 5 to 10 questions about a topic that you want to write about in your newsletter. And then you will record yourself answering those questions using Loom, kind of like in an interview style. And then Loom will give you a transcript of that video. Then you're going to ask ChatGPT or Claude to write the newsletter for you. You'll edit, add missing info, and then publish that. Here's the 2-part prompt I use to do this process. So first we record the video, we get the transcript, and then we say, act as a blank expert, read this interview transcript about topic. After you read it, ask me 5 clarifying questions about this topic so you fully understand it and are able to write about it. It's important you do this because you need to give the AI more context so it can produce a better output for you. Then we do prompt number 2. So I'll give you the slides for this at the end. But basically, we basically say something that's very similar to the prompt that I read before. So I'm not going to read it again. And then it gives us the output. Then we edit and publish the newsletter. Okay. So place number 1 where we need to publish is our newsletter. And then place number 2, like I mentioned before, is one social platform. And this is important because newsletters are a content business and you have to publish content outside of your newsletter to grow and get feedback. Publishing a newsletter alone is not going to grow your audience because newsletters are not discoverable. You have to utilize a discovery platform like LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, search engines, paid ads, etc., so that you can grow. And when you do this, you create a growth flywheel. People see content that they like on Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Google search, Instagram, etc. And then they subscribe to your newsletter for more content. You don't have to publish everywhere, though. You don't need to be on every platform. What I highly recommend you do is to start by picking one platform and spend all of your content creation time on that platform outside of your newsletter. Don't try and grow more than one at first. That's way too hard. These are all distinct. You need to focus. And if I were starting over personally, I would pick either YouTube, LinkedIn, or Instagram, but there's other platforms that could be a better fit for you. Now, you can turn one weekly newsletter into over 250 social posts that bring in tens of thousands of new subscribers for free. Here's how I do it. And I teach you this because what I don't want you to do is create content for your newsletter and then create totally different content for social media and spend essentially double the time creating content. You need to learn how to create one piece of content that works across your newsletter and that one social platform. And here's what I do. Every newsletter that you write should be repurposed into 5 or more social posts on 1 to 2 platforms. Your newsletter should also be your newsletter should also be published as a blog and optimized for SEO. That is how you're going to get discovered. You create that weekly newsletter, and then you distribute that forever. If your weekly newsletter is repurposed into 5 social posts on one platform and 1 blog post, that means you will publish 260 social posts per year on just one platform, and then 52 blog posts per year. And this is the organic growth flywheel. You create original newsletter content, repurpose that newsletter content to your social media account and your blog, and then that content gets you new subscribers for the newsletter. A cool example of this is Rowan. He's the founder of the Rundown newsletter, and he's built an Instagram account to over 100,000 followers and racked up over 10 million views. What's interesting is that all of his videos are AI generated using HeyGen for video and 11 Labs for voice. He's gotten almost zero backlash on this, and it's generated him tens of thousands of newsletter subscribers completely for free. And the way he does this is basically what I just taught. His team and him create a newsletter every day. Then they repurpose that newsletter into a script. They use HeyGen to create an AI avatar from that script. They edit that video, and then they publish that video to Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Rowan says, best of all, this somewhat automates the video process using his newsletters as the script. It's opened up a new untapped audience with content that he was already creating in his newsletter. So he creates original content, repurposes that, and then uses that to get new subscribers to the newsletter, where he's able to monetize that audience much more because it is an email audience that he owns. You don't have to use video content to do this either. So you could use the AI video stuff that Rowan does. You also can make the videos yourself. But if you prefer to do written content, ChatGPT or Claude can turn your newsletters into social posts for you. And here's the prompt that I use to do that. Here's why this is important. When you publish on social, your content can be discovered and shared. Okay. That's helpful to grow your audience on social, but also grow your newsletter audience. Just as important is that you get feedback on what people love, hate, and ignore. You will get a lot more feedback on social than you will from your newsletter, especially at first. That's super helpful so that you can improve your content. This gives you signals on how to improve and how to find what I call content market fit. And content market fit is also secret number 3. If you want a successful newsletter, you need to find content market fit fast, and I'll show you how to do that right now. Content market fit simply means that a lot of people, or even a small amount of people, truly love your newsletter content And when you get more subscribers, they will love it too, so that you can scale to become a large and successful newsletter. And the way that you get content market fit is simply with reader feedback. Okay. Just like the way that you get product market fit if you're a startup is by getting people to use your product and give you feedback or give you money to use that product. Okay. You need reader feedback to get content market fit. The way you get feedback is three ways. Every newsletter you publish should have a poll, it should ask for replies, and you should measure the results and engagement of that newsletter. We talked about polls before. You should use a format like this here. And what you want to do is aim for a 80% or higher love it or 5-star rating. If you're hitting that consistently, that's good. You should also ask for replies in every newsletter. So at the end of every newsletter, you can say something like this below. Was this useful? Have ideas on what I should publish next? Tap the poll below or reply to this email. I read every response. You want a minimum of 2 to 3 positive replies per newsletter. And to get them, you need to ask for it or people won't know that they can respond. So ask for replies, read them all, respond to them, use that feedback to improve your newsletter. And then finally, you want to measure your growth and engagement. You should aim to get 1,000 subscribers organically from social media, shares, and word of mouth, a 50 to 60% open rate, and a 5 to 10% click through rate. And when some people see that, they think, oh man, that is really high engagement, 50%. Well, that's only half the people, right? 5 to 10% click through rate, that's not very high either. And the thing is, I'm not talking about having that type of engagement when you have 100,000 subscribers. It's going to be lower at that point for most people. I'm talking about having that type of engagement when you have 300, 500, 800, 1,000 subscribers. When you have that number of subscribers, you should have much higher engagement than when you have 100K or a million, right? There's still people that have newsletters with millions of subscribers, like 1440, that get 50 and 60% open rates, okay? But if you have a much smaller newsletter, it's much easier to achieve that. So don't be scared by those numbers. If you have great content, you can get that engagement and better with a small list. And if you have all of these things, you have or you achieve 1,000 subscribers or more organically from social shares and word of mouth. You get 2 to 3 positive replies per newsletter or more. You get an 80% plus positive poll rating, and you're hitting 50% plus open rate, 5 to 10% plus click through rate. Congratulations, you have content market fit. That's my formula for getting it, and it's not impossible to get there. I wouldn't say it's easy, but that is achievable for many people. That means you're on the path to publishing insanely valuable content and creating a newsletter that can become a large and profitable business. After you have content market fit, now it's time to start growing your newsletter faster. And this leads us to secret number 4, how to grow your newsletter faster, consistently, and profitably with paid acquisition. And yes, paid ads can work for newsletter growth if you do them right. Here's why. When I started working at The Hustle, I wanted to know how they grew the newsletter to over 1 million subscribers historically. When I joined, we had about 1.3 million subscribers. Was it a referral program? Was it social media? Was it Google search? It turns out over 1 million of those subscribers actually came from Facebook ads. And what's even crazier is that 90% of those subscribers came from just one ad creative. And you can see that ad creative right here. It's been copied by hundreds of newsletters at this point. It doesn't work as well as it used to, but Facebook ads in general still work amazingly. So Meta ads, which means Facebook and Instagram ads, they are by far the best paid growth channel. My company GrowLetter has used them to drive over 10 million subscribers for newsletters at a cost of between 50 cents to $2 per subscriber. And we're able to break even on ad spend on day one to acquire subscribers for free. Here's how we do this. We always set up the campaigns using these parameters. So we use a lead campaign, we use website conversions, and we use broad targeting. And we focus on these 4 types of ad creatives. So we've tested literally dozens or hundreds of different styles of ad creatives. And what's worked best out of all of those is these 4. And really, creative is the most important thing you need to have to make your Facebook ads successful. We use iPhone Notes, which is basically where you type out copy in your iPhone Notes app, take a screenshot, use that as an ad, or you can make something like this in Canva if you choose to. We use motion graphics, where you have text on screen and a video in the background. Here's a couple more examples. We use UGC videos, which is just an actor talking about why the newsletter is awesome. And we use AI generative ads using ChatGPT. So we've made all of these right here with ChatGPT using one prompt. A couple of tips on this. To make motion graphics, the tools that we use are CapCut or Capwing. They're both great, and they're both have pretty good free plans. Make usually see videos using AI generated actors. We use arcads.ai. It's about $50 per video. All you need is a script, and then it will generate a video from a real looking actor for you. And then you need to test a ton of different ads to make this work. You need to start with 4 to 6 ads. So let's say you maybe start with 3 images and 3 videos, and you need to test 2 to 3 new ads consistently every single week. That's how you get amazing results. This is how you grow with ads profitably. So that's how you get the subscribers. Here's how you make your money back as soon as possible. The cool thing about newsletters is that you can make $1 to $3 instantly every time someone signs up for your newsletter. For example, we helped the Assist generate over 120,000 subscribers and recoup over 100% of their ad spend to acquire subscribers for free using this method. And what they do is very simple. So you click on a Facebook ad, and then you go to the Assist landing page, which you see here. You submit your email and sign up. And then after you sign up, you see affiliate offers on their thank you page. And we do what's called an offer wall, which is a wall of between 5 to 15 different affiliate offers that reader or that user can sign up to. And then when they sign up or click one of those affiliate offers, we make money. What we're able to do is get subscribers from $1 to $2 each from Facebook ads, and then we earn $2 to $3 immediately from those affiliate offers on their thank you page. That allows us to break even or make a small profit on the ad spend to acquire the subscribers for free, and then all the revenue afterwards from sponsorships and product sales are 100% profit. This is called negative CAC, negative subscriber acquisition cost. It's how some of the largest media companies and creators scale to millions of subscribers and millions in revenue. And there's 2 ways to make money immediately from these new subscribers so you can have a negative subscriber acquisition cost. There's more actually. I'm just going to show you the 2 best ways if you are beginners. The first is affiliate offers, and I just broke that down. So you promote other people's products on your thank you page, usually in an offer wall style. And the second is called paid recommendations. This is basically affiliate offers for other newsletters where you recommend other newsletters and you get paid for those recommendations. The most popular paid recommendation platforms are Sparkloop Upscribe, Beehive Boost, and after offers, they allow you to earn between 50 cents to $1.50 per subscriber immediately. They're very easy to set up, takes about 30 minutes or less. And once you set them up, they're 100% automated. You basically set them and forget them. Here's what they look like. After you sign up for a newsletter, you'll see a pop-up like this. You might have already seen a couple of these out there in the wild. And it will ask you to subscribe to 5 other newsletters. And if you do so, the person who recommended them will earn money. And the second way is these affiliate offer walls. So after you sign up, you see an offer wall of different affiliate offers. It could look like this, or it could look like this. And you can also do both at the same time, and that's probably a great idea for many people. So this is MarketBeat. They're a massive newsletter. After you sign up, you see paid recommendations for other newsletters and lead magnets. And then after you go through the paid recommendations, you see an offer wall of affiliate offers. And this is one of the reasons MarketBeat has been able to scale to over $40 million per year in revenue and 4.3 million subscribers. They're able to acquire subscribers for free or at a much lower cost because of this process. Now, that's how you make money immediately from new subscribers. Let's talk about how to make money from each subscriber on your list for years to come. And this leads us to secret number 5. There's a lot of different ways to make money from your newsletter, but I recommend you start with the 4 baby steps to monetization. These are coaching, sponsorships, affiliate marketing, and paid recommendations. These are the 4 best ways to get to your first $10,000 from your newsletter. Offer one-on-one consulting or coaching, do newsletter sponsorships or work with ad networks to sell sponsorships for you, sell other people's products, which is just affiliate marketing, or use newsletter recommendations like Sparkloop Upscribe or Beehive Boost. I recommend you use all of these, but some people may only choose to use 2 or 3, and that's totally fine too. Now, these methods aren't going to make you millions of dollars at first, but they are the best ways to make your first dollar online, make your first 10K, cover your expenses, and build momentum. Baby step number 1 is coaching and consulting. I recommend you sell 30 to 60 minutes of your time using Calendly and Stripe and PayPal. When you do this, you're able to see your customers' problems and challenges. And then you will use these to identify a product or service that you can later sell to your newsletter subscribers. You can create a Calendly event, connect that to the Stripe, and then pick a price that you're going to charge either per hour, per 30 minutes or per 45 minutes. It's very seamless to do. It takes about 10 minutes to do this. And then afterwards, you have a way to charge for your time. And the reason this is so powerful is because, of course, number one, you make money. And number two is by talking to people who actually pay you and seeing what problems they will pay to fix, that is a much better signal of what products people will actually buy than something like a survey, a poll, or an interview. So if you talk to people, see what problems they have, you will get a great idea of what you could sell them later, whether you create that product or service yourself or you promote it as an affiliate. If you want to learn that and you do something like a survey, a poll, or an interview where people didn't pay, that data is not very helpful. I know it may seem helpful, but the reality is people pay with their wallets. They vote with their wallets, and you have to get them to pay you to actually identify what they truly need. Baby step number two is sponsorships and ad networks. If you have a high value niche newsletter, you can sell sponsors with 5,000 or less subscribers. And what's amazing is that as you grow your newsletter, sponsorships become more lucrative, and selling those sponsorships becomes easier and easier. And the reason why is because as you grow, sponsors will pay more to get in front of a larger audience. So you make more money per sponsorship. And then also, as you grow, you will attract more sponsors because the better sponsors want to work with the larger newsletters. This is why newsletters like 1440 are able to make $76,000 every time they send an email. And with ad networks, you can get premium sponsors on autopilot. For example, right now, using the Beehive ad network, I have 13 different ad opportunities where I can earn $2 to $4 per click. And what's amazing about this is I didn't need to talk to any of those brands. I didn't need to get in a sales call. I didn't need to negotiate. With an ad network like Beehive, I get sponsors automatically. And also, there's more ad networks out there. I think Beehive has the best one right now, and it's the best way to start. But you can also use Wellput and other ad networks that exist. Baby step number three is affiliate marketing. This is basically selling someone else's product or driving a subscriber to someone else's newsletter. There's a couple different networks that you can use. So Beehive Boost is essentially an ad network for newsletters. Sparkle Subscribe has the same thing, an ad network for newsletters. There are other ad networks so you can find physical products, SaaS products, media products like Impact.com, Perform CB, Max Bounty, ClickBank, ShareSell, or you can just go and work directly with a brand. So a lot of SaaS companies, a lot of physical product companies will have an affiliate program that's not in a network. You need to reach out to them directly to work with them. Here's an example from the Beehive ad network. So right now I can go into Beehive and there's at least 1 or 200 different newsletters that I can recommend to promote either in my newsletter or on my website. And I can earn between $2 to $4 for every subscriber that I drive for that newsletter. I can place a promo in my newsletter and earn $2 to $4 per subscriber. And the cool thing is people can sign up in one click. So if someone clicks on this ad right here, they sign up in one click. And then if it wasn't my newsletter, this is someone else promoting me, but if it wasn't my newsletter, I would earn between $2 and $4 per subscriber. You can promote other products too. You don't have to just promote only newsletters. Newsletters are a great place to start because it's so easy to promote them and you can get people to sign up in one click. But software products are very lucrative. Software products will happily give you a 40 to 50% commission on that sale for life. And that subscription is renewing every single month or year. Through occasionally mentioning one SaaS product in my newsletter, I've earned over $50,000 in the past 12 months. Here are those commissions right there. And baby step number four, the final baby step, is paid recommendations. And we covered this before. Sparkloop, Beehive, after offers, so you can earn 50 cents to $1.50 per subscriber. It's totally automated. It's probably the easiest way to get started making money from your newsletter as soon as possible. I have one client who's earning between $5,000 to $14,000 per month from Sparkloop alone. I have another friend of mine, Grant, who has earned $47,000 in the last 7 months of Beehive Boost, and he only started his newsletter about 12 months ago. And that's it. Those are the 5 main secrets. So you need to create a category. You need to publish IV content consistently in your newsletter into one social channel. You need to find content market fit by getting 1,000 subscribers organically, getting replies to every newsletter, getting an 80% or higher positive poll rating, a 50% or higher open rate, and a 5% or higher click-through rate. You need to set up paid ads to grow faster profitably with the right subscribers on autopilot. And you need to use baby step monetization, coaching calls, ad networks, affiliate, and paid recommendations to get your first $10,000 in revenue. If you do that and you execute well, you will have a successful newsletter. Now you know the 5 secrets. Here's the math behind a $10,000 plus per month newsletter. Before I show you that math, I know a lot of you are probably thinking, Matt, doesn't it take a long time to grow my newsletter? Well, growing anything isn't easy, but it's a lot simpler than you might think. If you add 30 subscribers a day, you will get to over 10,000 subscribers in 1 year. If you add 85 subscribers a day, you'll get to over 10,000 subscribers in 4 months. And all you need to do that is 60 people to visit your landing page every day if you want over 10,000 subscribers in 1 year, or 170 people to visit your landing page a day to get to over 10,000 subscribers in just 4 months. And if you have a hyper niche newsletter with 10,000 engaged subscribers, I promise you that will change your life. You can make an amazing living with just that alone. In fact, many of the people who I've coached have made over $10,000 per month with just 1,000 to 5,000 engaged subscribers. My business hit 7 figures in ARR when I had just 10,000 subscribers, and there are many more paths to much, much more than $10,000 per month with your newsletter. That's just the starting point. Here's the math behind your first 10K. Okay. In this model, we are going to add 30 subscribers a day for 4 months. That's 3,600 subscribers. We will make $1 per sub from paid recommendation, $3,600 in revenue. We will run 10 ad network ads at a $2 cost per click and get 100 clicks each. That's $2,000 in revenue. Promote an affiliate offer with a $200 commission per sale, and we'll convert 0.5% of our list to that. That's $3,600 in revenue, just 18 sales at $200 each. And then 0.3% of our list, just 10 people, will need to buy a 45-minute coaching call for $200. That's another $2,000 in revenue. That's a total revenue of $11,200 with conversion rates that are very low and achievable. So I'm not saying you can go ahead and do this overnight. I'm saying this is what's possible with a small email list if you know how to do it right. Now, how much does it cost to actually go ahead and do that? You're going to need to have some type of email service provider like Beehive. Beehive gives you 30 days free, and then it's going to cost between $50 to $100 a month. You probably want to have ChatGPT Premium. Calendly is $15 a month. Stripe fees will probably take out about $60. Miscellaneous, another $100. So your total cost over a 4-month period is about $600. Could be less, could be more. This is just one model to show you what's possible. But it doesn't stop there. Newsletters are an exponential business model. So starting at first is hard, but as you grow, it gets easier and easier, and you can grow non-linearly. So you can grow faster than the average business out there. At first, it's difficult, but as you grow your audience and revenue, it gets easier and you grow faster and faster, because with a bigger audience, you make more money, and with more money, you can grow faster. The great thing about newsletters is they actually scale. They're a scalable model that scales with media, because delivering a newsletter, a sponsorship, or a digital product to 100 people or 1 million people takes the same amount of time and effort. You do not need to hire more people to make more money. A newsletter enables you to scale with media and technology. So let's imagine if you had a physical product business or you were fulfilling a service to clients. If you wanted to send a product to 10 people, you need 10 products. If you wanted to send a product to 1 million people, you need 1 million products, and you need to pay a lot more in inventory, shipping fees, etc. So it doesn't scale with technology. It doesn't scale with media at all. If you wanted to fulfill a service to one person, you could probably do it yourself. If you wanted to fulfill a service like an agency service to 100 people, you probably need a team of 20, 50 people. You have to hire more people to scale. You know, with newsletters, you don't have to do that. You scale with media. So what I'm saying is it's basically the opposite of nearly every conventional business model that's out there. Most business models have linear growth. They're not exponential. They have bad economics. You have very low margins. Then you have to keep hiring more people and buying more inventory to grow your business. It gets harder as you grow because managing those people and managing that inventory and the business complexity gets more and more difficult. There is no scale with media or tech. There is no snowball effect or flywheel where it gets easier as you continue to grow faster. And you have to increase your headcount and the number of employees to increase your revenue. Newsletters don't work like that. They get better and better as you get bigger. So let's look at a $50,000 plus per month newsletter. In this model, let's say we add 120 subscribers per day for 12 months. So that's 40,000 subscribers. We make $1 per sub from paid recommendations, 40K in revenue. We sell 20 sponsorship packages at $5,000 each. That's 100K in revenue. 0.25% of our list, just 100 people, buy a 45-minute coaching call for $1,000. That is $100,000 in revenue. Excuse me. 2% of our list buys a product for $500. That is $400,000 in revenue. So that's a total revenue of $640,000 or six. Sorry, I've been talking for so long here. 640K over $600,000 with an email list of 40,000 people. Okay. It gets a little bit better as we scale. Let's imagine this scenario we add 300 subscribers a day for 12 months. That is over 100,000 subscribers. And we make $1 per sub from paid recommendations, 100K. Sell 20 sponsorship packages at 10K each. That's $200,000 in revenue. We promote an affiliate offer with a $500 commission per sale in 0.5% of your list buys. That's $250K in revenue. And then 1% of your list buys a $1,000 product. That is $1 million in revenue. So that's a $1.5 million per year business with that math right there. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying you can do this overnight. I'm just showing you what is possible with a newsletter. Now, I'll leave you with this. Using the system that I walked you through, I've helped top newsletters and creators add over $10 million in sales. Excuse me. I've helped top newsletters and creators add over 10 million subscribers and over $100 million in sales. Newsletters like Charter, The Milk Road, The Hustle, creators like James Clear, Cody Sanchez, Dan Martell, Sahil Bloom. We helped James add over 300,000 subscribers. We helped Sahil go from 175K to over 600K. We helped Cody go from 120,000 subscribers to over 500K. We helped The Milk Road generate over 160,000 subscribers, leading to a multi-million-dollar acquisition in 10 months. We helped The Pour Over generate over 600,000 subscribers in 14 months. We helped Charter generate over 200,000 subscribers. And after 14 months of working with us, they were acquired by Robinhood. We helped The Flyover go from 0 to 7 figures in sales profitably in 17 months. And I've helped hundreds of clients and over 600 students in various niches, industries, and business models. You can see many of their results right here. It's also not just clients. This system has enabled me to start from scratch and build a multi-million-dollar business in less than 2 years from my newsletter. And I hope you found this useful. Now, if this was useful to you, I'm going to spend 5 to 10 minutes going over a special offer that I created to help you start and build a profitable newsletter from scratch. If you're watching this on a Saturday or a Sunday, it's not available right now, but it's going to be available Monday and Tuesday, the second week of April, I should say. So I'll share the dates with you in a second. So it's not available now, but the enrollment's going to open in just a few days. And what I'd like to introduce to you is called Write, Grow, Sell. Write, Grow, Sell is a 6-week live training program and coaching program that I've created that teaches you how to start, write, grow, and monetize your newsletter step by step using our proven system. It includes 12 live training sessions where you'll learn the system from real-world examples and case studies. You'll get the recordings, the slides, and the transcripts for all of those. 6 hours of group coaching and office hours for Q&A, feedback, and personalized advice from me. Over 100 templates and examples that make it easy to copy and paste our newsletter content, growth, and monetization system into your business, and a community of over 600 founders and creators who are rooting for your success. You now know that an email newsletter gives you an insane advantage to build a profitable, sustainable, and independent online business. But the reality is, creating an email newsletter is a lot of work. Creating content's time-consuming. Setting up the software without a guide is confusing. Growing without an audience or a big ad budget is hard. And monetizing with sponsorships and getting subscribers to buy your product is a lot more complicated than most people think. Unless you want to waste years of time, hundreds of hours researching, and tens of thousands of dollars on marketing, you'd be a lot better off getting someone who has built a newsletter before to help you, or maybe someone who has built over 100 newsletters. I've done that, and that's why I've created Write, Grow, Sell. I've built a $2 million plus per year business from my newsletter, and I've helped over 100 newsletters add 10 million plus subscribers and over 100 million in sales. Write, Grow, Sell reveals everything you need to build a profitable newsletter from scratch. It's the complete and proven roadmap to start, grow, and monetize your newsletter, even if you're starting from zero, even if you have no subscribers, no followers, or no newsletter right now. But it's not for everybody. This program is unlike other courses because you are not going to learn passively. Instead, you're going to execute the system with direct support and feedback from me and the community. You will start and publish and grow your newsletter during the course. You will follow the proven playbook to get your first 1,000 subscribers, drive revenue with the monetization system, even if you don't have a product or any sponsorship sales right now. And you'll leave with the roadmap to scale your newsletter to millions of readers and revenue. There's no fluff, no BS, no basic information, no upsell, nothing is held back. Everything is inside of this program. Now, I'm going to quickly answer the most common questions about this, and then I'll tell you how to get started. Who's this for? Sell is for founders, creators, writers, marketers, and people who are tired of the 9 to 5 and want to start an online business. You do not need a newsletter, an email list, an audience, a niche, or any experience to join. It's a comprehensive program both for beginners and advanced. So if you already have a newsletter, this will still help you. But if you're a beginner, it will help you too. About 60% of people who join do not have a newsletter or a niche when they enroll. About 25% of our students are outside the US. We have people from all over the world. We have people who write newsletters in all different languages. And we have people of all ages in this program, young, old, everything in between. There's every type of niche, industry, or business model you can imagine inside Sell. Some of our students are building brand-focused newsletters. Others are building newsletters for their personal brands. Others are staying completely anonymous. The system works for all types of newsletters and all business models who want to use a newsletter to grow. What's inside? There's 5 main elements to the program: the training sessions, growth work, coaching, Q&A, templates, and examples, and the community accountability. The live training sessions work like this. There's 12 live sessions. There's going to be 2 90-minute sessions per week for 6 weeks. The sessions are at 12 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday and Friday. There's about 60 minutes of instruction and about 30 minutes of group coaching and Q&A with me. You do not have to join every live session to get value from this. Everything is recorded. You will get the slides, the recordings, the timestamps, and the transcripts. You'll also get access to our mobile app where you can view all of it on your phone. Most people take it on their own time and they get the most value from it that way. Other people join every live session. You can do whatever you prefer to do. You get access to all of the course materials for life, so it doesn't go away after the 6-week program. The modules work like this. In week 1 and 2, it's write. We're focused on how to pick a niche, how to write, how to publish your newsletter. Week 3 and 4 is grow. We'll teach you how to start your newsletter, grow your newsletter audience and your social audience. And week 5 and 6 is sell. You'll learn how to make money with sponsorships, affiliate marketing, and digital products. You will also have a growth work assignment, which is kind of like a homework assignment after each session. These are the exact things that you must do to start, publish, grow, and make money from your newsletter. There's no busy work or BS. Assignments are things like defining your niche, creating a landing page, publishing your newsletter, etc. I'm going to teach you exactly how to do all these things step by step before they are assigned. Then we have coaching and Q&A. At the end of each live session, there's going to be about 30 to 45 minutes of group coaching and Q&A with me. And there's 12 sessions, so I'll have plenty of time to answer all of your questions. There's also templates, resources, and swipe files. There's over 100 of these things, and they will save you time and money. Many people tell me that these templates and these resources are worth more than the price of admission alone. Finally, there is a community and accountability elements. A community of over 600 founders and creators who have already gone through Sell that will support you. That community is even bigger at this point. I'll be participating in the community and answering questions every single day, and there is an accountability channel to keep you on track. Will this work for you? There is nothing else on the market like this, and there is no one else with this teaching. There's no one else teaching this in my experience. Of the 600 students who have gone through past cohorts, over 300 of them have shared a 5-star review and testimonial because they got results. Everything you need to create a profitable newsletter is inside of this. Everything is taught step by step with a system, templates, examples, a community, and group coaching to support you along the way. Is it worth the investment? Many students who enrolled have made back the investment and more during the 6-week program, and you can read and watch all of their stories at writegrowsell.com. I believe if you use it, you will get an ROI, but you do have to use it and execute what I'm teaching you. There's also a 30-day no questions asked money back guarantee. If you are unsatisfied with the program for any reason within 30 days of the course start date, I'll refund your investment, excluding a 10% refund fee, which we use to protect our intellectual property and keep the program limited. There is no hassle, no questions asked. If the program's not for you, you can get a refund. Here's the investment to enroll. If you want to work with my marketing agency, GrowLetter, to do this for you, or frankly, just do a fraction of this for you, Right Grow Sell covers much more than what we do at GrowLetter. We charge over $50,000 per year. If you want to work with me one-on-one, which I do not offer anymore because I just have no time, I used to charge $1,000 per hour. It would take at least 12 hours. That's a $12,000 investment. Other courses that teach much less and give much less value than we do charge between $5,000 to $10,000. But even if you paid that much, you could still get an ROI because a well-monetized newsletter has a subscriber lifetime value of $10 to $20, and a good product offer can convert 2 to 5% of those subscribers into customers. Imagine if Right Grow Sell helped you add 5,000 subscribers over time, and just 2% of those people buy a $150 product, so a very low price product. That is $15,000 in revenue. And many of you could earn much more than that. Like Bo, for example, he said he's not exaggerating when I say the value is at least 100x the cost. So instead of charging $10,000 or $20,000 for this, like I could, Right Grow Sell is a one-time investment of $19.99. That one-time investment gets you access to the live cohort, the course recordings, the slides, coaching, community for life. There's no upsell, no catch. There's nothing else you need to buy from me. Everything is inside Right Grow Sell. Here's how to enroll. First, you need to know that there are limited spots. Right Grow Sell is limited to 500 people, so I can work closely with a small group of students. Right now, there's less than 200 spots left because people have already gone through early enrollment. Official enrollment opens on Monday, April 7th. So that is very, very soon if you're watching this after I publish it. And then enrollment ends on Tuesday, April 8th at midnight Eastern time. So there's a 48-hour enrollment open window. After enrollment opens, it closes and no one else can get access to it. There's a 30-day, no questions asked money back guarantee, like I mentioned before. And you can join the wait list to get notified about enrollment at rightgrowsell.com. So you cannot get access yet, but on Monday, April 7th, enrollment opens. 48 hours later, it closes. And if you want to get notified about this first, you need to join the wait list at rightgrowsell.com or follow the instructions around this video. Of the 100 students who have gone through past versions of this program, over 300 have left a 5-star review and shared a testimonial. What's also amazing is that Right Grow Sell has a 91 Net Promoter Score. Net Promoter Score is a system that you use to gauge how people are satisfied with a product. And our Net Promoter Score is higher than Amazon, Netflix, Apple, and Chick-fil-A. Anything over a 70 NPS is excellent. We're at a 91, which is almost perfect. Most courses have a negative Net Promoter Score because keep in mind that NPS is graded on a scale of a negative to 100 to 100. We're at a 91. And students that we surveyed added 276 subscribers on average during the program. That is a ton, considering about 60% of the students started with 0 subscribers, no niche, and they had to take the course and work a full-time job at the same time. And at the time that we had this last survey, up until the most recent cohort, Right Grow Sell was a 5-week program. So they only had 5 weeks, and they accomplished that in 5 weeks with no newsletter, no niche. Many people went on to grow much faster after the 5-week program because they just had a lot more time on their hands and they understood the system. And here's why. We've got hundreds of testimonials. A cool example is Nico, and he said, Matt's course completely changed Valery's business. It's helped me add a front-end offer that's bringing in an extra $3,000 in revenue per month. Derek said Matt's approach of timeless fundamentals combined with cutting-edge tactics can take any newsletter publisher to the next level. Paul said, this course had invaluable insights to offer. I had 8,000 subscribers going into this, and I thought I knew a lot after running a newsletter for 2 years. Boy, was I wrong. Matt and his team are experts at this. They take you one by one over each topic that is necessary for anyone to understand if they want to take their newsletter to the next level. Matt's course was a great fit for me. At first, I was worried the content would not be useful because my newsletter is written in Portuguese for a Brazilian audience. Boy, I was wrong. Matt's tips and expertise work for newsletters all around the world. Adam said Matt McGarry is unusual among online teachers because that he, excuse me, Matt McGarry is unusual among online teachers in that he holds nothing back. He is a beacon of helpfulness and integrity. You can see all 300 plus testimonials at writegrowsell.com, and I highly encourage you to go and read and watch them. It's much better to hear about someone's experience who took the course and completed the program than me telling you about it. I can only tell you so much. I can tell you my perspective, but if you get the perspective of someone who actually used it, it'll be much more insightful than what I can share with you. So if you're interested in this, I encourage you to go there and watch those. I'll share some of these with you now. There's literally hundreds, and it takes about 17 seconds to scroll through just a fraction of them. So you can see all of them at writegrowsell.com. Again, if you truly want to enroll in this, the best thing to do is to go to the website and look at those testimonials right after this video. And the reason we have so many 5-star reviews, over half the students shared a 5-star review, is because they got results. Like Rick, for example, he said he learned new strategies that are already resulting in hundreds of new subscribers in the past few weeks. And this was right after the program. Tim said he got a huge ROI, already made back our investment. Anastasia said Matt's course had a huge impact on our business. During the course, we had to upgrade our newsletter billing platform twice because the subscribers were coming in 24/7. I'm also going to give you some free bonuses if you enroll. And so these are going to be available for this cohort. And if you choose to enroll during the enrollment period, you'll get access to these for free. The first bonus is 5 sessions with expert guests. I've brought together some of the world's best experts on newsletters, content, ad sales, and growth, and we've done 5 bonus sessions with them. So Ryan Heafy is the co-founder of 6 a.m. City. He teaches how to build a local media company. Katie Huff teaches lessons from selling over $50 million of newsletter ads. Tim Hulskamp, the CEO of 1440, teaches how 1440 grew to 4 million subscribers and 8 figures in revenue. Erica Burghart is the head of growth at 1440. She talks about how to acquire over 200,000 subscribers per month using paid acquisition. And Brad Wolverton, who is the head of content at The Hustle and HubSpot, talks about how to write habit-forming newsletters and build an editorial team. You're also going to get all of the recordings from Newsletter Marketing Summit, which is our conference with speakers like Alex Lieberman, James Altucher, Steph Smith, Jay Klaus, Chanel Bastilio, and many other amazing speakers. So you'll get those for free when you join Write Grow Sell. And here's everything you get when you enroll on Monday or Tuesday. You get access to the Write Grow Sell cohort-based course, over 6 hours of group coaching and Q&A with me, over 100 templates and swipe file examples, access to the course community for life, 5 bonus sessions with expert guests, Newsletter Marketing Summit recordings. That's a total value of over $11,000 for $19.99. So if you would like to learn more and enroll, you can join the waitlist at writegrowsell.com. Remember that enrollment opens on Monday and it ends Tuesday at midnight. We have a very short enrollment period. We might actually hit our student cap before Tuesday at midnight. And so if you want to enroll, go to Write Grow Sell, join the waitlist, read about what it is, read the testimonials, and then make sure you take action on Monday to get in. Now, if you have a question about this, you're welcome to email me, but I'll try and cover the most common questions now. Is there a payment plan? You can use the buy now, pay later option with Carlana at checkout, and you can choose to pay in 4 to 10 installments. You will save the most money if you pay up front, and I would encourage you to do so if you can. This is only available in the US. You can see that here. When does the program start? The program starts April 9th, and the first session is at 12 p.m. Eastern Time on April 9th. You will get access to the bonus content and the pre-course content before then when you enroll. And remember that enrollment ends on April 8th at midnight. Do you need to attend the live sessions? The answer is no. There are recordings, notes, transcripts, and slides for every session. You don't need to join live. Complete it on your own time. You can also use the program on any device. We have a great app that you can use. What is the course schedule? It's a 6-week program. There are 2 sessions per week on Tuesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. Eastern. The only exception to that is the first session is on a Wednesday instead of a Tuesday. The sessions are 60 minutes of instruction with 30 minutes of Q&A and coaching with me. How is it delivered? The live sessions are in Zoom. The course recordings, content, resources, and community are all in Circle. Circle makes it easier for you to learn and engage with the community, and with the content, they have a great mobile and desktop experience. Can you add someone from your team? After you enroll, you can pay for additional seats for your team with a large discount. If you want to buy additional seats for your team, you can email me about group pricing. Is there a lower price for international students? The answer is no, because this is a live program that is limited to 500 people. What is the time commitment? You will need about 2 to 3 hours per week to attend the 2 live sessions per week or watch the recordings, and 2 hours to execute the growth tactics. How long do I have access to the course materials? You will have access to the course materials forever. This includes all the live sessions, video materials, and templates and swipe files for your cohort. You will also have access to our course community for life. Do I need to use a specific newsletter tool? The answer is no, you don't. You can use any tool you would like. However, I do encourage Beehive. It is the tool that I recommend personally. We won't have time to cover how to do the same thing for every platform. I would literally spend all the time teaching that. I can't show how to do a welcome email in 10 different softwares. I'm just going to show that for Beehive. But if you understand your platform, you'll be totally fine. Just make sure that you know it well. And if you don't have a platform, you can choose Beehive after you enroll. Do you need a budget to invest in paid ads? The answer is no, but it's a plus. We will be spending 1 week in the program on paid ads, and if you want to test that, you will need a minimum budget of $10 to $25 per day. What if you're not tech savvy? A newsletter is not a business model that requires technical experience. We have members of every level. I'll teach you how to do all the technical setup for Beehive newsletters. However, if you don't use Beehive, you need to know that newsletter platform or that newsletter software well. Will this help if I already have a large newsletter? The answer is absolutely. In fact, you'll have an advantage. Many of the tactics work even better if you have a large newsletter. We have had students with 10,000 to 1.5 million subscribers. They've seen awesome results, but if you don't have a large newsletter, that's okay too. You do not need any newsletter subscribers to join. You don't need a niche to join either. This is designed for people starting from scratch. It is a comprehensive program for both beginners and advanced. How much access will you have to me? There are 30 minutes of Q&A and coaching at the end of each of the 12 course sessions. I will also answer questions in the course community. That is over 6 hours of time with me. Now, I don't do one-on-one sessions, but between those 6 hours and the access that you have to me in the community, that is more than enough time to get your questions answered. And the last thing, to build a successful newsletter, you need 3 things. You need a system that you can copy, step-by-step guides, and templates that make it easy for you to write, grow, and monetize your newsletter. You also need coaching and personalized advice. You need to work with an expert who has done this before to help you. And finally, you want a community to support you, a group of people with the same goals, supporting each other and holding you accountable. If you don't have those 3 things, you could waste years of your time, tens of thousands of dollars, in confusion and frustration because you don't know what to do. Getting those 3 things from someone who has built a successful newsletter before is worth much more than the price of admission, because it's going to cost you much more if you don't have a system, coaching, and community to help you. That is why it's time to invest in yourself and start building the business and life that you want. Because if you don't, someone else will. Every time we open enrollment for Right Grow Sell, and we've done it 4 times now, it sells out. Someone else will take your place if you don't act now. All of these people have gotten results, and you can see all the results at rightgrowsell.com. And if you'd like to join, I encourage you to go there and join the waitlist. Enrollment opens Monday, and it closes Tuesday at midnight. After it closes, this is gone. I'm not going to be offering this live again. So if you want to get access to me and work with me in the community over 6 weeks to rapidly start, grow, and monetize your newsletter, you need to go to rightgrowsell.com and join the waitlist. And then when enrollment opens on Monday, you need to enroll immediately. It's going to close Tuesday, but we do have the potential to close the cohort early if we hit our student cap. Okay, that's all I had to share with you. I hope this is helpful, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you.